Well, something's about to happen. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney. Last time we had another chance to look around Miss Pavlova's cabin while she was away, and we learned not a whole lot. But then the ship almost crashed into another ship. Stuff slid around. And well, I feel like we could glean information from that. But we're about to open the door. And, well, I think we may be seeing something. I don't know what, but we're going to see something. Somehow the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Suzada-san took a deep breath, then gently slid back the bolt. Oh.
You! What are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters?
Ah, you both look unhurt. Oh, good. Yes, we're fine, thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship? Yes, it appears to have been a false report, though. Oh, how did that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop.
Everything is chaos. Passengers are screaming. Crew are running everywhere.
This first-class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm? Does that mean that someone pressed that button outside?
Ah! You wicked intruder! Celeste all black, you're the devil!
Sorry, me? I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is a first.
You opened my traveling case! How could you?
What? No, we didn't touch it. That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin.
The inspector!
Yes?
Unless this man, I know he did it. He's a criminal. Is it not enough that he has killed a man? Duh, and he has stolen away as well. Your victim promises not to steal chicken, do you believe?
Ugh. Oh, well, this is not looking great for us.
Take him away. He is a trespasser as well as everything else.
Bit of pot calling the kettle black, don't you think?
Storing away, trespassing, killing. She is right, you are devil.
It doesn't look good, does it?
There is cell below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police.
Wait, a cell? Please, Inspector Hosonaga, is there nothing you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. This is terrible. This is a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately. Well, we can have a look at the traveling case. We didn't really have a good look at it before. I just need to keep calm and focus on the task at hand, which is investigating.
Don't touch my things! You want me to show you how crawfish hibernates?
Well, now even Suzada's gonna get on it. Okay, thanks for that. Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think you're doing? Wow, everyone's attacking me. And I was just starting to think she was my friend. Well, isn't there anyone who can help me out of this mess? What in the world are you doing? What are you doing up there? That's what I said. Mr. Holmes? Why do you have the tiara on you? Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles feels like one's head. Have I not told you that as a detective, it is my business to know what other people do not? Huey. This isn't mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh, no. Well, why were you hanging from that hook before then? Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of 20,000 rubles, naturally. I was to determine if we would bend that conceited-looking hook on the wall, so full of brag and bounce. I never know whether to take this man seriously or not. Ah, you again, the great detective. Ah, Inspector, I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than a hook on the wall next time.
What is to report? Speak!
An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. Yes, the case of the curious murder that took place last night, here on this vessel, the steamship Ballerina, has been solved. By me, naturally. What? Really? Yes, I've eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist. So allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I am about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case.
Ah, you have solved it. Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing Student Boy this morning when we found Clea Malone's wardrobe. It is the stowaway, and he has handcuffs to prove it.
I didn't do it. The trouble is, it doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because as everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted for shut from the inside. That means the culprit must be someone who is inside the cabin. Yes, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories.
Duh! Locked room! That's his point!
The room was locked. Well, I can't deny that. There's no way the bolt could have been drawn across from outside the cabin. You are quite mistaken. The cabinet's door is not a so-called locked room at all. What? Oh yes, there's another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin, despite the bolted door. What other entrance? We never discovered one. Why, it gets open-mouthed at you even as we speak. The ventilator, man. Really?
The ventilator? You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole.
That's because your arms are as thick as tree trunks. They're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening? It's not possible. Ah, but it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. Mr. Holmes, do you mean? Are you referring to the words Cosmo-sama wrote in his diary? Whistling and the speckled band. Precisely, my dear madam. But what does it mean? What is this speckled band? The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. What you doing, okay? Mr. Holmes, what are you doing? There's a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I am about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your cores. Behold! What is it? Oh! It's a snake. You okay there, dude? Allow me to introduce you all to the band. The speckled band. A snake? Indubitably. That's her pet? I thought it might have been a cat. I guess not. See, my thought was the speckled band might have been like, I don't know, the cat's collar? But no, it's a snake. I mean, maybe I should, I really should have seen that coming, because, like, the little opening cutscene for the case, like, gives this away. And I don't mean when they're on the ship. I mean, like, when they're like reading off the actual Sherlock Holmes story. Anyways, Mr. Holmes, just one thing. Who are you, Columbo? Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake. isn't really speckled, is it? It looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? Yes, you're right. I think in this case, you'd have to call it the striped band, wouldn't you? Are we gonna help? We can help him out. I mean, well, he seems to be fine. He's like just standing there stoically. You both see and observe with distinction. However, do you not think that is precisely the trap in which the culprit wishes you to fall? Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap? How exactly? I think perhaps it is time I explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? I'm sorry for the young man who died. But that is all. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. Number one. Last night, your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two. That same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life. No. She's turned as white as a bowl of rice again. Holmes must be right. He's hit the nail on the head. Did someone's friend killed Mr. Asaki? I mean, my thought is like he saw this. It's like, okay, like he saw this. What he saw was a speckled band, and then maybe he like, I don't know. He saw that it was actually a snake, and like startled, like he got startled, then fell and like hit his head and died that way. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I really buy. I mean, honest. I don't know if I really buy the snake killed Kazuma. I don't know. We'll see. He's trying to say something. It looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. Yeah, seriously, do we want to help him? Our advice is as little movement as possible, Stephen. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck. So everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Holmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Oh, we're getting another one of these. Alright then. I would have expected only one to start with, but nope, we're getting two. Okay, the intruder's identity. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you call this horrid event, your aching heart smarts with pain. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? That's $100 word right there. Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. And yet that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band, whereas regrettably, the specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? Oh wow, that was super obvious. No, don't look at me! This has nothing to do with any of this! Oh, but it does! You have the answer to this quandary right now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake's... I don't know how you say that. His skin. Evidently, after the subtle and horrible crime, this most deadly friend of yours shed its original skin, no? I don't know what you're talking about. Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend slithered next door. Using the bell cord on the other side of the bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake whose markings change each time it's. I'm gonna have to look up how to say that. Future me can just put up the way you say it on screen now. A snake so dreadful we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India. But she's from Russia. Well, I mean her ballet troupe traveled all over the world, I believe. So, anyways, how Mr. Oski died. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter: the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no! Could there be? Ah, yes, an examination of the deceased's body will prove the cause of death conclusively. The almost but not quite imperceptible puncture wounds left by the I can't speak. Let me try that again. The almost but not quite imperceptible puncture wounds left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. Yes, the vestiges of the snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend. This makes no sense. There's no point in feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt. You don't... It is telling that the victim made note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you would use to train your serpent friend. To train? Indeed, you'd put the serpent through this ventilator and wait. After a period, you'd summon it back with a whistle. You could know the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared not to have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more. You deny the snake has undergone such training. It's not true! Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt. My logic is infallible. Well, clearly it's not, because we're about to help him work through it. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of the speckled band. Well, Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor, you observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creep. For a snake? Okay, I'm starting to think it might be a cat, actually. You solved the mystery! Amazing! Your great deduction really lives up to its name! I see now why Okay, let me try this again. I see now why Sherlock Holmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it was nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand. Can I venture an opinion, Mr. Holmes? But of course, what's on your mind? It's just, about your deductions before, some things don't quite make sense to me. I welcome questions as to my method, and will answer both loudly and proudly. Oh, well good. First of all, snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family. You are well informed, madam? And reptiles, don't drink milk. Yeah, that's not the only issue. And it's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So, I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward. No matter. No doubt Miss Pavlova has used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example. The logic holds. Well, there is something else. Snakes have no ears. Yes, so I'm not sure it would be really possible to signal a snake by whistling. But madam, what are the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sounds of a flute? I think perhaps the performers played their music in time with the snake's natural movements. Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears? These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless! Don't take it out on the snakes, Mr. Holmes. There is one other thing. You have more? He's already getting so flustered. The snakes use the scales in their bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins. They should try harder. Please, don't be angry with me, Mr. Holmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine the snake could have had a part in this. Aw, he's sad. Well, momentarily we will have to help him. I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh no, you don't mean... Yes, we need to modify Mr. Holmes' latest deductions and turn them into the great ones they ought to be. Yay, this is fun. I had a feeling that was coming. Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, right. So, cast your eyes down to your wrists again. What? Once again, the cuffs come off. You've done it again. Your handcuffs are gone. Where did they go? Fear not, I shall see they're restored after our work is done. I really wish you'd leave them off. Now everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Holmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Alright, hold on a second. Now then, we need to correct the first deduction. Now, I think it... Yeah, it's so... I think it is clear to say... Cosmo's death has... It's like, she definitely has something to do with it, I think. Yeah, so it's not her aching heart. There's something else something else aids. She does have a pained expression on her face. Yes, that's true. She looks as though Cosmo-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind. But you're not sure Mr. Holmes has read her quite correctly, is that it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression, then? Let's take a moment and really look very closely at Miss Pavlova. Well, hold on. Why is it? Oh, hello. He'll be fine. A claw scratch. Oh, it might be a cat then. That's one button.
Yes.
There we go. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, that claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, and simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch? Sometime last night? Oh wait. That was us speaking. Whoops. Ah! Well? When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Yeah. So, it's not the snake then. Snakes have no claws, naturally, so... who is the true friend? You know, here's a question. Who does the snake belong to? Who knows? It seems likely that the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except, snakes don't have claws, do they? No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow. Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is? What's the true identity of this friend of hers? Alright, where are you looking at? Oh. Where you look at that. It's a kitty. So I was right. Hey! A little bell that little kitty's got. That looks vaguely familiar. Ah, look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away. She is exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? Yes, that's true, but personally, it's the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Have you never seen a cat? Maybe we better take a closer look at this. Yeah. Okay. Why did you call it a creature just a second ago? What? Look at the little cat Miss Pavlova is cuddling here. Oh, what a cute little kitten. It could... Oh, it probably says Vi. What? I don't know what that means. A black kitten. From the look of this picture, at least, Miss Pavlova seems very attached to it. Well, I think that's safe to say.
Yes.
It's the cat. Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear. Oh no. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you? Ah! Darka is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind. Darka would appear to be a Russian blue. I'm guessing that's a breed of cat. And yet that fact leads us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. Whereas regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was the sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? No, don't look at me! This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yeah, so now this makes even less sense than before. Did you see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back. If she had just left it in her pocket, no one would ever have known. Oh yes, ploys like that are Mr. Holmes' specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something. I thought the Dutchman was his specialty. Or maybe making me believe that was or maybe making me believe that was a ploy too. Anyway, I find it hard to believe that's the skin of a snake. In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back? Yeah. What is that in there? Let's have a closer look. Well, it is speckled, and it is a band, but what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy. A long piece of cloth of some sort. And that looks like a handle at one end. I think that may be a cat's toy. This sort is common in the West, apparently. How's that a toy for cats? Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them, and they pounce to catch it. That sounds positively adorable. And now we present what it really is.
Yes!
Yes, the thing you are trying, but failing to conceal, is, a cat's toy. Precisely, and the true nature of the now infamous speckled band. Ah! And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can only be one answer to that. After a feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use a speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. Ah. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darka. Well now. A truly troublesome feline young Darka's proven to be. She must be caged once found. You won't forgive us for borrowing the photograph for your pet, Miss Pavlova. And we'll just take that. And so we must wonder where the cat is. It was after I gave her her food last night. And that's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand, and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Taka, she is so naughty. Well then, now we move on to how Cosmo died. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. So, how did this really happen? Yeah, no visible signs of injury. Well, so yeah, now this makes no sense, because there's no snake involved. But Mr. Holmes says it's true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere in Cosmo-sama's body. That's right, but Mr. Holmes seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Cosmo wasn't poisoned. Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information he's missing now. Yeah, because now we actually have his autopsy report. Yeah, no trace of external injury or poison.
Yes!
In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah yes, I knew it was one or the other. His neck was... Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. Steven Stroganoff isn't some immortal freak, you know. The jury is out. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yeah. Cosmo died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something. Or someone. Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found, though. Presumably, Darka didn't silently creep up behind Cosmo and deal him a fatal blow. I suppose it's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. That's what I said before. But, I don't know. I feel like you'd be more likely hit your head than your neck. It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident. Oh yes, a bad fall could explain it. It's rather hard to believe of Cosmo-sama, though. He wasn't a clumsy man. Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened? Let me try this.
Yes!
Oh, that works, okay. Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish? Indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I've constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were my results. The undeniable ingredients are shoe polish. And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Oski's laced leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Oski must have caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped. That's... Yeah, I was kind of saying that, like the top of his shoe rubbed against the floor for whatever reason. Please, no. And by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and at that instant, he lost his life. I don't know anything about this. I'm starting to not believe that. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Oski left his life? Or lost his life, I think it said. Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. Yeah, well, it's not the trunk. So, where is it? I don't believe it. Cosmo-sama merely tripped over and now he's no more? That can't be true. I refuse to accept it. I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that that's what happened. But if this part of Mr. Holmes' deduction is right, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin, somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. Let's have a look in here. This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all the first-class cabins have them. Well, look at that. Look at there. Yeah. Okay.
Yes!
Present that shit. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Ah. Ooh, my game kind of froze for just a little bit. Or lagged, or whatever. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, it would seem. One that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor of Mr. Oski's cabin. And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. Oh no. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the seams of the victim's death, should be found in the waste paper basket in your cabin? Oh, you got some explaining to do. You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not? I don't know, and that hushed Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. What? Take it away, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah. It's your cat's bell. If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darker's collar, the very glass bell in question. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble? Your absent feline friend, Darka. Well, what do you have to say?
I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry.
Death by tripping over a cat. I still feel like there's a little more to the story, though.